Oh, Eve, 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 Eve.
Adam. Why don't you just sit down?
I've got to keep working. If I keep working, I don't think, and I've got a lot I don't want to think about. I'm sorry, Lord. I know it's a gift. I know I should be grateful I can think, but lately, if I think about Abel. And if I think about Abel, I think about Cain and what he did. And I can't think about Cain and what he did because what Cain did is unthinkable.
Adam, it's cold in here. Adam, I'm
Freezing?
freezing. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm freezing. It's freezing in this,
House, Eve. It's a house. It's a dirty house.
First it's aardvark. Then it's giraffe. Now it's house. Where does he get these names?
Eve is very capable, Lord. She can do many things. But what I think she does best is complain. She's really got that down.
Please clean the house, Eve.
All right, all right. I didn't make the house dirty. Who made the house dirty, huh? You made the house dirty.
She complains better than any other woman I know. Of course, I don't know any other woman.
In the house. House. Doesn't look like much of a house to me. In fact, it doesn't look like much of anything.
I'm a whiz at names. Mongoose. I really like that. Mongoose. 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 Skunk. Skunk. That's that big yellow animal with the huge head of hair, the one that roars.
Could I ask you something?
Yeah.
What are you building with all of these wooden sticks? I mean, they're not doing us any good, Adam. Look, they don't keep out the wind, they don't keep out the sun, and they can't possibly keep out the rain. Adam, animals live in caves. Caves are made of good, solid rock. I thought we were supposed to be smart.
You just keep picking up, dear, and pretty soon it'll be spick and span.
Did you ever?
There. That's a window.
A window?
Window. Keeps out the wind.
Oh.
Now you can see out.
If I wanted to see out, I could go out. And what am I supposed to do with these?
Oh, here, I'll show you. You just put it in there.
In here?
Yep.
Well, that really is terrific. That makes a lot of sense. All of outdoors, and I've got to put those in a...
Basket.
Basket. Basket.
Or maybe it's a pail. I haven't decided yet.
Why do I need it?
It'll save you a lot of steps.
How?
You don't have to walk back and forth to the outside anymore. You just walk over to the pail.
Ooh. What do I do when it's filled up?
Then you take the pail.
And walk to the outside.
Oh, it's you.
Could I ask you a question?
Sure.
If I have to keep walking back and forth to the pail, why don't I just walk back and forth to the outside?
That's a very good question. You know what puzzles me? You are part of me, and yet you come up with questions I haven't even thought of.
Well, I have another question for you, Adam. How come I don't like you anymore? No, don't touch. Don't touch. Stop it. I used to like you. I used to think it was very clever the way you'd always go around making up names and everything, but... Oh, I don't know. Nothing's been right since that thing happened.
What thing? The apple thing or the cane thing? The apple thing I don't think about much. The cane thing I don't think about at all. And you shouldn't either.
No, I just don't want to be touched. Will you stop?
Cain is gone. It's almost as if he were never here. In fact, if you don't think about him, he was never here.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I don't want to talk about it either.
Well, then why are you talking about
You
it?
brought it up.
Well, let's not talk about it.
Cain. Okay. Maybe you should talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it with you.
Fine. I don't want to talk about it with you either.
Well, if I can't talk about it with you, just who can I talk about it with?
Hello, it's God.
Insight. Stories of modern man's search for meaning, freedom, love, insight.
Look who it is, Eve. It's God.
That's God?
Of course it's God. Who else would it be? Who else could wear a suit like that?
A suit. That's what I'm wearing. It's a suit. Good word, Adam. I like it.
Doesn't look like God to me. The last time we saw God, he had a different expression on his face.
The last time you saw me, I was angry.
His expression was wrathful.
Ah, wrathful. That's what my expression was. That's a good word. Wrathful. Oh, I like that word. That's the word I'm going to have them write for the way I was when they write the Bible.
What's the Bible?
Who are they?
What does he mean, right?
Hey, the Earth is a big place. Sooner or later, there are going to be a lot more people on it. Now, I can't go through the same problems with them that I've been going through with you. So they have to know what your problems were. The Bible's going to tell them.
The Bible?
Oh, don't worry your pretty little head about it. Some things you were born just too early for. Adam, how'd you learn to talk so good?
So well.
Huh?
How'd you learn to talk so well?
Yeah. You talk perfect Hebrew.
Thank you, God.
Of course, you got an Eden accent.
It was the apple that made him talk that way.
What?
Yeah, before he ate the apple, he hardly said a word. And then everything was just in one syllable. And of course then, he was innocent.
Innocent? Me? Ha! You should have seen her. Nothing embarrassed her, God. Nothing. She'd walk around naked so anybody could see her. Anybody.
Well, there was just the two of us.
Anyway, since the apple, I can name like crazy. Before, it was quite a struggle. I can't explain it, except that nothing looked different to me. It was like it was all part of one big thing. Eve, me, plants, animals, everything. One big thing. They didn't need names. Ah, there's no question about it, God. The apple made the difference.
Yes, it did. But I loved him before the apple. I don't know. Somehow he was cuter and sweeter. Oh, nothing's been right since the apple.
No, not nothing. Naming is not nothing.
Well, very good, Adam, because if that's the case, I've got a couple of names for you.
Aren't you going to ask me to sit down?
You tired, God?
God doesn't get tired. But it's polite when you've got visitors to ask them to sit.
Well, gee, God, all we have here is the floor.
Oh? What's wrong with those sticks and boards?
Sticks and boards? That's a chair and tables. Oh, no. It's a table and chairs.
A table. Uh-huh. Then what's this?
That's a bowl.
A bowl. And what's this?
That's a banana.
A banana.
Sure, we had bunches of them in the garden.
Don't mention that word.
Which word?
Garden.
We don't mention the word garden. Garden is an out word.
Ever since we're out of the garden, God, garden is an out word.
Eve, you've been out of the garden a long time.
Yeah, it's true, Eve. And it's a nice word, garden. I almost forgot it. It's been so long. She hasn't made a good adjustment.
And you have.
The only adjustment he's made is adjusting himself to the fact that he hasn't made an adjustment.
You need a treat.
What's that?
Name?
Sunday.
Sunday. It's a Sunday. Adam hath spake.
Ooh.
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, sorry. try it now. And use this.
That's good. Can you do this, Adam, huh? He fancies himself as God, you know, because he runs around naming things all the time. I'm sorry. I know how I must sound to you.
Ever since we're out of the garden, she hasn't really been happy.
I know. I've been watching.
You have? I didn't see it.
Adam, if I don't want you to see, you don't see. Take it from me, I've been watching.
And
I'm through watching. I'm here.
all these years, 20 years, we had 2 children, you know, but we wanted to please you somehow. Oh, Abel, he was so beautiful. Oh, and Cain.
Physically an ox. The brain of an ox, too, I think.
I'll tell you something, I don't ever want to have another one.
You're supposed to love each other and have children. That's why you're here.
That's why we're here.
Oh, that's why.
I thought we were put here to enjoy this wonderful world.
I get the sarcasm. What's the matter? You don't like the world?
Well, it's cold, and everything's a struggle, and everything's a pain.
Well, if you weren't so smart, you wouldn't have noticed. Then again, if you weren't so smart, you'd still be in Eden.
I get the sarcasm.
Good. You can handle anything in the world. You have capabilities. I personally guarantee them. A lifetime guarantee. You can't do better anywhere.
I don't feel very capable. In fact, I feel quite limited.
God is the only unlimited. Man and woman are limited in that they are human. But their human capabilities are unlimited.
We're unlimited limited.
No, I think it's more limited unlimited.
God is unlimited unlimited.
You are limited, limited.
I think Adam's done very well. He's the first one to build a
House.
house, right, right. You know, it's not easy being first.
No, it's not easy being first. We make mistakes, don't we, God?
We?
Well, that back-a-whack bird wasn't all that hot. I mean, it flew backwards.
That was camouflage. You couldn't tell whether it was coming or going. I gotta protect my species.
It was killing itself, flying into trees. I mean, it could never sit down. Come on, God. It was the laugh of the Garden of Eden.
It needed some modifications, and I made them. Let's drop the subject.
What modifications?
It doesn't fly backwards anymore.
Oh, good.
I gave it a crazy song and changed its name.
Change its name to what?
It's a cuckoo bird.
Cuckoo bird. I like that. That's good. Huh?
I like to please.
You do, God. Honest, God, it's a wonderful world.
Eden was better.
Eve, you could have stayed there. You made a choice. You decided not to. You can't have everything. You chose one thing, you gave up another. That's a rule.
Another rule. God, you're always making up new rules.
Yes. I'm always trying to make it better.
And every time you make up a new thing, there's always a new rule.
Yes. But some rules don't change.
No, some don't, but others do. Like the time there was a unicorn in the garden.
Oh, he used to eat out of my hand.
Then we found out he was allergic to grapes. He'd break out. So the rule was no grapes to the unicorn. Except that when we went out of the garden, there was no unicorn, so we didn't have to pay attention to that rule.
The truth is that there are little rules and big rules. Now, the unicorn rule is a little rule. But a rule that says you better listen to God and love each other or you'll get thrown out of the garden, that is a big, big rule. Now, Eve, I've got a truth for you.
I'm unhappy. And that's the truth. Ever since the garden, I'm unhappy, and I don't want to be unhappy.
Well, the truth is that you're unhappy because you've got guilt.
Guilt? Me? Oh, no, I don't have any guilt. No, I don't have any guilt. What's guilt?
You're not living in Eden anymore, and you think it was your fault.
It was her fault.
What? It wasn't your fault. You didn't have to eat the apple.
She gave it to me.
You didn't have to take it. I told you not to eat.
But she is my wife.
But I am your God.
You know what your problem is, sir?
What's my problem?
Your problem is you're God.
This is a problem.
Sure. You're not human like we are. You don't have to cope.
We have to cope with the things that you make up.
You see, God, you're creative. Terrific at making up things. Mountains, oceans.
But you don't have to climb those mountains, and then you don't have to
Swim.
swim those oceans.
You made up a woman, you gave her to me. We're supposed to stick together, share things together. She tells me to do something, I figure I ought to do it. I love her. She wanted to give me something.
And it was the best apple I ever had.
If someone loves you and wants to give you something, you should let them express themselves.
I expressed myself. I gave you the Garden of Eden.
You gave us rules.
The rules which I make up are for your happiness. You have got to understand that this world in which you make your home, it's my place. I decide when a bird shall fly backwards. I decide if there is to be a unicorn or there's not to be a unicorn. I decide if on this earth human beings working with me are going to have the inside track or working without me will always be on the outside looking in. I decide what is right and what is wrong. I know what is best for you.
God, it's cold out here.
Come on in.
Thank you.
You think that I don't love you. Of course I love you. But somebody's got to be the boss. I'm the boss. Am I not the boss? Okay. So if I'm the boss, how come all of a sudden you decide which rules you obey and which rules you don't obey? Huh? What's the point of my making rules? You might as well make up...
Excuse me, God.
You might as well make up your own rules, except you can't make up your own rules because you can't see the whole picture. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't even know what's happened in the past. You don't even know what's happening every place right now. That's easy. If you happen to be omnipotent.
And what are we? Just little pieces of dust.
Dust thou art. Beautiful dust. But dust thou art.
What does dust know? We hid from you, we were shamed, but you found us and you threw us out. You were wrathful and you were right. We understand that. We did the same thing with Cain.
Right. Cain made up his own rules like you made up your own rules. And you threw him out like I threw you out. What did you expect of him?
Well, from a first son, you have a right to expect a lot.
Does he see love at home?
Well,
Does he see respect? No. He sees hostility, he sees unhappiness. He lives with this all his life. Who taught him to love his brother? No one. You think this was the first time he hit his brother? No. You think just this once he turned around and hit his brother? No, he hit his brother many times. But this time, he killed him.
God, I feel so guilty.
I didn't mean for you to feel that. Guilt. It's a waste of time. No worse. It's a great disfigurer of time. Like a giant vacuum. Sucking away love, draining away life, leaving only an atmosphere of despair. I put you here to love and to fill up my earth. And you pass on a legacy of guilt and hostility. Am I to expect no love on this earth of mine?
God, you give and you take. Why can't you take away guilt?
I give a lot of things because I make up a lot of things. But I never made up guilt. Adam, you said before the apple, you felt you were part of one big thing. And you were part of one big thing. You and me and everything else. One big thing. And then you did something that I told you not to do. And bang! Suddenly, We were not part of one big thing anymore. Suddenly, I'm hurt and you're scared, and we're not getting along, and you're not getting along, and there's conflict between you, and there's conflict inside you, and that's guilt.
Have you seen Cain?
Naturally. You think he's so hard to see?
How is he?
He's full of guilt.
Runs in the family.
But he's working it out. He's living in Nod.
Who lives in Nod?
Adam, Cain lives in Nod. God just told you.
But next to here, it's nothing.
And next to the Garden of Eden, this is something.
But Nod is ugly. It's rocky.
Oh, well, Cain told me he's going to improve it.
You can't improve the land of Nod. It's all the same. It's monotonous. You could fall asleep in the land of Nod from boredom.
Well, Cain told me when he's through improving it, it won't be so boring. He's going to build a city.
What's a city?
It's a place with a lot of houses for people.
People? What people would live in Cain City, Adam? We're the only other people we know.
Tell her, God.
Cain's people.
Cain has people?
God.
Cain is going to have people, sons and daughters and grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
All by himself. You see, Eve, there are always new rules.
I have given Cain a woman. She is great with child.
You gave Cain a woman?
And she's great. Well, why shouldn't she be great? You make great women, God, judging by the only one I know.
You gave Cain a woman after what he did.
You're going to be a grandma. The first grandma.
What?
In fact, in honor of the occasion, he sent you a present.
Present? What kind of a present?
It's a special stick.
A stick? This is a present?
Yes, you use it to lean on when you grow old or to help you stand.
What does he call this stick? Did he give it a name?
Oh, not yet, not yet. Cain said he wanted you to name it.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. That's nice, huh, Eve?
It is nice.
I'm going to name it a Cain.
Ah, I'll tell him what you called it. He'll be so pleased.
You've forgiven Cain.
You see, there's always hope, even for you, especially for you. Wipe your face. It's a
Handkerchief.
handkerchief. Not bad.
Oh, thank you, God. A present from God. And me.
I'm a grandmother, huh? The first grandma. Does that mean I'm old?
Oh, you don't look old to me.
I don't see any difference. You're still my girl, Evelyn.
I don't feel old. God, how far away is this Nod?
Oh, it's a long walk. But you could make it if you wanted to.
Do you want to, Eve?
Well, God gave Cain a woman who's great with a child, and I think I would kind of like to meet this wonder and welcome her to the family.
Huh.
You know, God, you should take yourself a wife. You'd make a good husband.
Well, the thought had occurred to me, but there are no other gods, you know.
Well, why don't you just create a woman for yourself? I mean, you're the Lord of all creation. With you, anything is possible. And you know something else? You ought to have a kid, too. You see how hard it is. I mean, it wasn't easy to raise Cain. And it won't be easy for you to raise,
Abraham?
No.
Samuel? Morris? Lenny? Oh, Jesus.
Interesting. Yeah, I like it.
God, don't you have to be going?
Oh, no, I have all the time in the world.
Could I have a word with you?
Sure. Oh, of course, of course. Adam, I must be toddling along. But here's a present for you.
Oh! A saxophone!